G'day, my name's Rue. If you're watching this, you probably know who I am. And if you don't, I'm a guitarist from Australia. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here nearly 5 years. Play on Broadway. I go on the road sometimes, and I've sat in a studio chair once or twice. And I love it. I love every second of it, even when I hate it. That's really weird to say, because there's definitely been some moments in the past few years where I wanted to quit. Like, not just like quit, you know, oh, I'm not doing Broadway anymore, I'm not going on the road. Like, I just wanted to give up music, actually. I'd start messaging friends like, hey, I'm selling my guitars and my amps. I'm selling this, and they, you know, kind of have to talk me off the ledge, so to speak. So look, I just want to have a little open and frank discussion about self-worth and who you are in relation to music and learning to love yourself again through music. It might not relate to everyone. You know, I'll say this pretty openly, suffered with depression and anxiety for a long time. And it's made it really hard sometimes to work and to be able to function. But I've started to work on what I think is coming out the other side of the tunnel and that. I had an issue where I was intrinsically tying my self-worth into how many gigs I have. I'd hear that someone else had more than me and freak out, or I wouldn't have gigs that week and it'd be all over. If I didn't have what I deemed the best gigs, or I wasn't playing with cats who, you know, better than me, I'd freak out. It was stupid, it was my ego speaking. But I let it get so deep that I'd get home and I'd try and play guitar and I'd just end up like a mess, like crying, or I'd listen to a really good player, I'd go and see someone and, you know, I'd be inspired, but then when I'd be home alone, I'd be freaking out because I'd be like, well, if they're that good, I'm never going to be that good. You know, something that helped me was I got told an anecdote, recently, like a kind of idea about what playing music is like, right? Like if you're a guitar player, it's like, someone said it's like a pie eating contest. You know, every guitarist in the world is lined up, and you're wherever you are. You're eating your pie, and you're like, oh, I think I could do better. Or maybe I can't do better. And you look to your right, and there's the guy who's eating a pie bigger than yours. And you think like, oh wow, it must be really good to feel like him, because he's doing this, and he's achieved this, and he's done this. And then you remember that he has his guy that he looks to and goes, oh man, I wish I could do that. And it keeps going. It's this, you know, it's a long-winded way to say, like, comparing yourself is going to be the worst thing you can do for your self-identity and self-worth as a musician. I had to stop that and learn that, like, I'm lucky to have a gig, let alone the gigs I do. And I'm just so stoked to have them. Just like I got a gig in an hour and I'm like, I haven't played with these cats in a couple weeks because I've been out. I'm so excited to get up there and rip it, you know. But you know, there's other parts of playing music that's really difficult, you know, especially comparison, you know. It's a thief of joy, but you know, we listen to our favorite players. I've been listening to a lot of Kurt Rosenwinkel again lately, and James Muller, two of my favorite jazz cats. I listen and play these lines and just like, dude, I'll never have that. But it started to turn into like, wow, I will never have that, but I could have my own thing. And I think that's an issue that a lot of us guitar players fall into, or musicians in general, especially in Nashville. We see these other cats and we hear these other guys doing things, and we go like, I want that, or I want, you know, this. And there's some cats who are so focused and determined they don't have that. They have a tunnel vision about who they are and what they do. I respect those cats so much. But you know, we see someone else doing really well and we go like, I want that, and I'm going to work for that. And then you get a day into working on it and go, oh, that's not who I am. The journey of self-discovery through music and healing through music, for me, the guitar has been really wild like that. So yeah, I had to stop comparing myself. I'm just rambling, I'm sorry. I had to stop comparing myself. I had to stop worrying about how many gigs I have. One thing I really struggled with was just sitting down and playing the guitar. And at the top of this video, and I guess through the start of it a bit, you can hear it, is me just sitting down and playing. I'm not sure what I was playing. I was playing whatever felt good in the moment. I was exploring sounds. Being able to lay your hands down on the instrument and let your body and your soul take over, and just living so intently in that moment that nothing else matters, is something that's really difficult. It's really difficult to let go. All right. When it's just you and your instrument, you're trying to find ways to express who you truly are, you know, because you could sit there and just, you know, play whatever. I was just thinking of like a 2/5 there, you know, but doing that once isn't enough. You know, you've got to do that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end. And then you've also got to practice. There's a great book I read years ago called The Space by Kenny Warner. It talks about that. Letting go and just being there. I mean, I'll tell you that's the game changer. It's just being there and recognizing how lucky you are to do this, you know. It can be really difficult. Broadway can burn you out so much, but like, we get to play music. I get to wake up every day and go like, dude, I have a gig, let alone gigs this week. Like, that's crazy. I'm the guy from college everyone thought was gonna fail. You know, I'm like the laughing stock of my hometown anyway. A lot of musicians probably looking at it, dude. But I'm just stoked to have a gig, let alone gigs. I'm so excited and happy to be playing, you know. The fact that I get to do this for a living is just, it's insane to me. I, you know, feel chosen. I'm lucky. But something I've really had to work on as I get to this point is recognizing that I have really struggled through a lot emotionally enough, you know, been too anxious to say yes to opportunities, or I've gotten opportunities and just freaked out. It's made it really difficult. But you've got to learn to process things and let go of them, and just, you know, you can't let your anxiety override you. You've got to learn that you are who you are no matter what, and you've got to be yourself. You know, I struggle with that idea of self-identity as a musician, but ultimately when it comes down to it, I'm able to let go, I'm able to find who I am. So look, all of this is rambling, and it's long-winded, and it's rubbish, but might mean something to someone. But I'd rather speak candidly right now in just a free-flowing, through composed thought, and be vulnerable and let you know where I'm at and who I am. The whole thing is, I've really struggled with music for a long time. I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't anyone. I'm not going to achieve anything. And you know, I had to fit into the Nashville mold, and I had to fit into this and do this and this, but I just stopped caring. I want to play the lines I want to play the gigs I want to play, and I just want to be happy playing music, and I am, because I just held this obsession with this thing so much that I can't think about anything else half the time. And I don't want to, but I've learned to accept who I am and love myself again through spending time alone with the instrument. Spending time alone in general is something I've struggled with. A lot of people struggle with. But being able to meditate through the instrument and breathe and play and discover who I am sounds insane, but I don't know. Look, I just want to say to everyone who is a musician, touching an instrument right now or not, whether you practice all day, every day, and you're like a god at music, or you're just a cat who plays, like, you are a musician, and that's the most incredible thing in the world. You are gigless, or you have gigs, whatever, but everything you do is just valid and so incredible because you're playing music. You're creating the one thing that truly every human can feel without, there's no barriers. It doesn't matter if the person next to me speaks another language and the person next to me doesn't understand my language. We can all listen to music and convey feelings or feel them. See, I'm going to go do my gig and I'm going to meditate before it, and I'm just going to be in the space. I'm not going to worry about if my lines suck. I'm just going to have fun and let go. I'm going to be what my self imagined as a child, as a kid. Just the idea of standing on stage made me a nervous wreck, but now it's like what I live for. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know where you're at. Maybe you want to tell me in the comments. Maybe you want to message me privately. Oh, let's have a chat. Music's difficult. Being a musician's difficult. This is like a weird Sunday PSA. It's probably going on too long. I'm probably talking rubbish, but now I'm just going to let go. I'm not going to worry about the money. I'm not going to worry about being the best. I'm just going to play because I want to. Thank you.